Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Laura. In today's video, I'm going to share with you every book that I have on my shelf that has yet to be read. It may not look like I have very many books, but I think at last count it was somewhere between like 20 and 30 books that are on these shelves that I have not yet read. I'm not really like a book collector. I love to read, but I use the library a lot. In fact, the next video that you'll see, here's a sneak peek. All the books that I'm reading for this vlog that I'm working on right now, I got from the library. It's a really fun one, but it's taken me a very long time. And so I told myself that as soon as I'm done with this one, I'm going to stop requesting things from the library for a little bit of time and focus on reading some of the books from my shelves. So the purpose of this video is, one, to let you guys know some of the books that I do own and have not yet read, and two, run through all of those books fairly quickly. I'm not going to give like a long synopsis, maybe just tell you how I got this book, whether it was from a free little library find or I won it in a giveaway. Or just a favorite author that I decided to purchase these books. Those are kind of the main categories that most of these are going to fall into. But I thought that by doing that it would give you guys a chance to say, oh my gosh, I've read that book, you absolutely have to read that one soon. And that will help me narrow it down, because I don't know what it is about having all these books, and yet I keep reserving books from the library to read instead. But I have so many great books on these shelves that I know I'm going to enjoy, and so I thought maybe you guys could help me with narrowing down my list and really focus on reading some of these very soon. Without further ado, let me get started. I have this beautiful sprayed edge copy of The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center, and I went to a book signing, so not only is this a beautiful copy, but it's signed. So I'm very excited. It was my first ever author event. I saved like a little pamphlet and a cute little sticker that she included for everybody that came to the signing. It says, "Let the banter begin." I've never read anything from Catherine Center before, but everything that I know about her and her writing makes me think that I will really enjoy it. So I'm hopeful. But when I saw that she was coming to St. Louis and how beautiful this copy is, I had to go ahead and pick it up. The next three books all fall into that same category of an author that I haven't yet read before, but I have a feeling I'm really going to enjoy. So I really doubled down or tripled down on this author. My husband got me Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez for Valentine's Day. I had it on my book wish list on Amazon, which is not a very long list because, like I said, I don't have a lot of room for books. The reason that I really wanted this one is because it reminds me of my husband and I. I'm kind of like from the city suburbs area. He's a small town country boy that lives on a farm, and so I thought that that would be a really cute one to read and maybe like follow him around when he's doing some of his farm chores that I don't help with, because again, city girl trying to live the country life. I thought I could really relate to this one. And then I decided to buy into the hype of just for the summer. I really want to read this for the summertime, but I also kind of want to read Abby Jimenez's books in order. But this has gotten like such high praise recently that I couldn't not pass it up, and I thought the cover was just beautiful for that. And so I thought, if I'm buying those two books, I might as well also go ahead and get yours truly. I also bought these two books on Amazon when they were doing a sale, so I got them pretty affordable. So yeah, Abby Jimenez. Hopefully I will really enjoy her because I've bought a lot of her books. I have Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Technically, I have read this before, but this is on my scratch off poster, and I haven't read this since high school. So now that I'm 40 years old, I wanted to reread this one. It's very short, so this could be a quick, easy read. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. This was a little free library find. I really couldn't pass this one up. This was on my March Book Madness vlog. It was one of the contenders. It did not win, so it wasn't one that I read for that video, but I do hope to read this very soon. This is a good example too of a book that I will read and then probably put right back into the community in the little free library where I found it, or another one in our area. These next two are books that I found from Dollar Tree that are books that I had heard about or just thought sounded really interesting. So we have Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. I'm not positive I'm saying that author's name correctly. I've heard good things about this book. It says it's a national bestseller. It's got blurbs from USA Today, Good Morning America book club pick. This is another one that I will probably read and then donate to the little free library, but for $1 at Dollar Tree, I thought I would go ahead and snatch that up. And then this is like a nonfiction. It's called Make Virtual Meetings Matter. I do work from home, so I am on virtual meetings a lot. This will not take very long to get through. There's a lot of like blank space on the page. It's like the pages, it's like the font was like double spaced. So this will be a very quick read. At some point I want to read this and then maybe if it's good, pass it along to my coworkers. If not, this will be another one that will definitely be going in the little free libraries. These next two books fall in the category of books that I purchased to support friends. So this first one is The Great Digital Commission, Embracing Social Media for Church Growth and Transformation. This is by Dr. Reverend Caleb J. Lines. It feels weird to say that because I have known Caleb since he was a baby. Great friend of my family. Our moms were like best friends growing up and in high school in small rural Missouri. He lives in California and is a reverend at a church out there. The audience for this book I think would be people who are part of church leadership or who are interested in growing their church through social media, kind of thinking outside of the box. So I haven't read this one yet, but I did purchase it because I wanted to support a friend. Same with this one. This is What to Know When You Adopt Through Foster Care, Real Life Stories and Practical Tips by Marcy Bursack. So Marcy has been featured on the Kelly Clarkson show, I think it was. She's participated in beauty pageants, just anything that she can do to try to spread the word about foster care adoption. And she adopted her 2 children through foster care as well and is very open about that. I did read her first book. I just haven't gotten around to reading this one, but again, I purchased it because I wanted to support a friend. You can get both of those, I know, through Amazon and probably other places as well. This is another one like Mice and Men. I've read The Call of the Wild before. This is by Jack London, but I haven't read it in a very long time. So I just want to reread that one and then probably stick this one in a little free library when I'm done with it. This next book I got from our local library. This was our community read. I did not get around to reading it when the rest of my community was reading this together, but I do still want to read it at some point. It's a book about President Truman. It's Harry Truman's Excellent Adventure, the true story of a great American road trip. I think this is a good like summertime read, like talking about road trips. It is of course a nonfiction. It's got photos though of Harry S. Truman, obviously with him being a Missouri president. That is why our local libraries were interested in him as a topic, and why I want to read about it as well. I have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. My friend Sonia from Sonia with an I gifted me a copy of that. And then I bought on Amazon the Final Girl Support Group. And Mark, my husband Mark, got me this for Valentine's Day as well, along with Part of Your World, We Sold Our Souls. So I'm super excited to read more books from him. I did just recently also read My Best Friend's Exorcism, so stay tuned to see my thoughts on that coming up pretty soon. Sparring Partners by John Grisham. I purchased this for my birthday. The main reason being because it is based in St. Louis. It has the arch on the front and the back cover. So of course anything St. Louis or Missouri based, I'm gonna have a high intrigue for, but I've also never read from John Grisham before, and so that's another reason why I wanted to pick this one up. So I thought along with the St. Louis setting, this would be a great way to dip my toes into John Grisham. It's a set of, I think, 3 novellas. Next, here are books that I got from either Goodwill or thrift stores. I got Skipping Christmas by John Grisham. This is a beautiful cover, beautiful copy, and I obviously probably will not read this until closer to Christmas time. This is the book that one of my favorite Christmas movies, Christmas with the Cranks, was based off of, and so I'm super excited to read another John Grisham book. And then I have The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina. I've never read anything by Sherry Lapina before. I found this from Goodwill for $3.99. I think it might have even been like 25% off of that. It's another short little read. I don't know much about this one, but let me know if you've read from this author before, Sherry Lapina, and what you think of her. The next book I got from a giveaway. This is Kristen Hanna's The Four Winds. I also got The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna from the same giveaway. I read The Great Alone and loved it, but I have not read The Four Winds. From my understanding, along with any Kristen Hanna book, I probably am going to need my tissues for this one. This is another nonfiction book that I just very recently purchased. It's Be Yourself, Everyone Else is Already Taken. This was a speaker that we had in our like statewide professional development series through my work. Mike Robbins, he was like a guest speaker that we had a monthly hour-long webinar with him, and he was really fascinating. I loved some of the things and the points that he was making, and so he has several books that he's written. I wanted to pick one up, and actually my supervisor picked up a different one, so the plan is that I would read this one, she would read the one that she got, and then we can like swap and share to get like more bang for our buck kind of thing. But yeah, he was a great speaker, so I was really inspired by that and wanted to read one of his books. Okay, that is everything cleared off of my top shelf, and I have just a few more books to go through on the bottom shelf. This stack here, over here in the corner, I'm not gonna go through. Those are all like travel books. This is a book my mom had, and she read it and enjoyed it. It's called The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I have never read this or heard of this. I've never really heard people talk about this. It might be because I think it is a little bit older, but it does say that this is a Pulitzer Prize winner. Yeah, it says copyright 2006. So it's a little bit older, but I believe it's like a dystopian type of novel. A father and his son walk alone through burned America, post-apocalyptic. Right up my alley. I really love books like that. My mom said she enjoyed it, so hopefully I will as well. And then if she doesn't want it back, this will probably be another one that'll go in a little free library, unless, who knows, maybe it'll be a 5-star read that I'll really want to keep. I have some cozies that I want to get to very soon. I read Cheddar Off Dead. This was another 5-star book, and probably my favorite cozy that I've read so far. My friend Sonia from Sonia with an I gifted me with the next two in the series. We have Gone for Gouda, is this book number 2, and then Curds of Prey, which is book number 3. She has some really yummy recipes in the back of these, so if you like cheese and you like cozies, I think this would probably be a great series for you. She has a recipe, it's called Goat Cheese Breakfast Quesadillas, so I really want to read these 2 books. She also has another one coming out this fall, so I want to catch up and be caught up in her whole series before her newest one comes out this fall. Sonia also gave me this book. It's Class Reunions Are for Murder by Libby Klein. She said it's a great book for people kind of like in the midlife era, 40s, 50s and above, I would say. But of course anybody could read this, but maybe you might relate to it more if you're in that stage of your life. So she said this is really funny, like laugh out loud funny at times, and I can't wait to read this one as well. These next 2 are books that I picked up when I was in Dallas. I think I've shared them on the vlog before, but I have No Surrender by Chris Edmonds. This is a nonfiction about Chris Edmonds' father, who was a World War II hero. He told the story briefly at a conference that I was at, and the story was just so touching, moving, fascinating that I knew that I wanted to purchase the book and read about it more in detail, and Chris Edmonds signed that during the conference for me. So that's one that I really want to get to. I bought that all the way back in January and haven't read it yet, as well as What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. I bought this on the plane ride thinking I might read it on the plane ride back. It's just a novella. I think this is based on The Fall of the House of Usher, kind of like a retelling of that story by Edgar Allan Poe, who I really love. He's one of my favorite authors in like that gothic horror realm, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. This one is a little tore up because Puppy got a hold of it and tore up a bunch of the pages, which I'm sad about. But this one I have not read yet. This is a book by Kwame Alexander with Mary Rand Hess. I'm gonna have to turn the page and see what her name is since it's destroyed. Yeah, Mary Rand Hess. And so it's told in that same format. His books are like, It's a story told through poetry. So like all of the poems, at least with crossover and booked, they're poems, but it reads like a story, if that makes sense. So the poems build and collectively tell like one full story. I don't know how to describe it other than it's fantastic and moving and emotional, and I really, really like his writing a lot. This is solo. I think they also have a book called Swing that they wrote together as well, so I'm excited to read this one, even though it's a little bit torn up. At least I should still be able to read all the words. I have Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I did start this, you can see like my little post-it, but that's as far as I got. And I kind of wasn't in the mood at the time. I think I had recently read a bunch of romances that I was kind of in a romance slump. I'm waiting till I'm really in the mood for the like rich drama romance that this is going to be. I liked her writing, like there was nothing wrong with her writing, I just wasn't in the mood for it. So I'm hoping at some point I will want to pick this one up. We're down to the last final few. These all came like gifted to me or free or very, very cheap. This is Song of Solomon by Toni Morrison. I got this from a local library book sale. It's the only one that I purchased, the only one that really interested me. I've never read anything by Toni Morrison before, but I've heard that her writing is beautiful. I have To Kill a Mockingbird. Again, this falls into the category with Of Mice and Men and Call of the Wild. I read this when I was in high school, but have not read it again since. This is by Harper Lee. I think everybody knows what To Kill a Mockingbird is. My mom gave this one to me along with the other two. When I finish reading all of these, they'll probably go into a free little library somewhere. This one, Sonia from Sonia with an I gifted to me as well. This is Daisy Faye and the Miracle Man by Fanny Flagg. She and I both recently read Fried Green Tomatoes at the Whistle Stop Cafe and loved that book by her, and so she has a copy of this book as well and gifted a copy to me so that we can buddy read this at some point, probably sometime this fall. I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. This is just a book that I picked up from a thrift store, I believe. It was very cheap. It's interesting. It's got like all these like old photographs in it. Yeah, I saw somebody else on Instagram that had read this recently and really enjoyed it, so when I saw this for just $1 or $2 at the thrift store, I wanted to go ahead and pick that one up. This was a free like giveaway from a bookstore. If you bought a purchase, you got a free like blind date with a book type of thing, and so this is The Lost Library by Rebecca Stead and Wendy Mass. This is a middle grade fiction with some magical realism. It sounds really cute, so I want to read that one. And that is everything that's on my shelves. I can't believe I almost forgot this. Horror Store by Grady Hendrix. I forgot about this because it sits up on top. So another Grady Hendrix book that I'm super excited to read. You see what I mean? It doesn't look like it's a lot when it's on the shelves, but I have, let me go ahead and count them up real quick, 29 books total that I have not yet read. So it's more than what it appears to be. I'm gonna go ahead and set a goal for myself by the end of the year to have read at least half of these books, because I know that new releases and I'm gonna get FOMO, so I'm gonna wanna use my library again. But I'm hoping that if I can get at least half of these read and maybe some of them moved off of my shelf by the end of 2024, I will be very happy about that. So out of all the ones that I mentioned that I have not yet read, tell me the ones that you have read and enjoyed the most, if any of them, or just the ones that sound most intriguing or that you would like to hear my opinion on the most, and that will help me like prioritize those a little bit for myself. So that is everything. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Like I said, stay tuned. I have a very fun reading vlog, probably a pretty long one too, coming up soon, and that's what's up next for me. I will see you guys again next time. Subscribe if you want to see more. Give it a thumbs up too, because that helps my little channel grow, and I appreciate that so much. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.